You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Hello and welcome to the finals of week 6 here at the Eternal Tournament Series. I am Truedawn and joined by Rhino.
Yep, still here.
And we have cool finals today. We have Stone Scar Burn in the hands of Tobo against Pingami, Shadow Combre list. Seen both of these players on camera several times today, so you know these lists a lot. We talked a lot about both of these lists, so we'll probably just jump into game pretty quickly whenever the players are ready. But is there anything else you'd want to talk about, Rhino, about this matchup, about these decks?
I feel like at this point we'd just be kind of repeating ourselves, right? We've seen Shadow Combre go up against Stone Scar Burn a couple times here already. Subvert's done some cool stuff. It's really come down to who gets to control that board and get pressure on. And yeah, we'll just see how it plays out. Both these players basically have the experience with this matchup. I guess Tobo maybe hasn't played exactly against Shadow Combre, but has played against Combre enough to get the right idea.
Yeah, it's generally the same sideboard plan, same game plan in general. The sabotage and subvert changes things a little bit. You do have to be conscious of those cards, but you're still trying to do the same stuff, still trying to be aggressive, still trying to throw fire at your opponent's face. Yeah. So be interested to see if he's able to do that.
Yeah, basically this time around, instead of having to deal with protects and stand-togethers, you're dealing with subverts and sabotages, like just different ways of disrupting your, but similar in practice.
Yeah, so if the game drags on and Tobo's in a spot where he's just ripping burn, the sabotages don't help.
Yeah,
Pingami
neither
there,
does the subvert, right? Protect is a slightly better top deck than sabotage. I don't think anybody will argue with that.
Yeah, so Pingami is going to be weaker early, better early, weaker late. That'll influence the matchup a little bit. He'll be able to disrupt the hand of Tobo, but he'll only be able to take out reactive cards, not really like take Argoport or any of his actual creatures. So the early game for Tobo is largely going to be the same, but Pingami is able to do some disruption early that will help him in the mid to late game.
Yeah, the sabotage just really can help in those games where it's like, as we saw, Sandstorm Titan really just can dominate every other unit that comes out of Stone Scar Burn. So if you can, instead of having to wait till turn 5 to play Sandstorm Titan and hold up Protect, you can actually sabotage on one of your early turns while you're developing your power, and then or it's at least less likely that they can kill your Sandstorm Titan. That sounds a lot better to me again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And hopefully players come back soon. I think thought they're ready, but apparently at least one of them is not here.
Yeah, it's been a long day. They can take a little break, but yeah, I think we all would like this tournament to get finished up at some point soon. But
yeah, I would like to see
shortly.
I would like to see the thrilling conclusion, and also go have some dinner. Neither here nor there.
Why'd you have to mention that? I was trying to pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I'd love to do a bunch of filler, but like we've talked about like every angle of this matchup. There's just so many things going on.
Well, then I guess that really only leaves one thing that we haven't really talked about a lot yet, and that's harsh rule post board.
Yes,
we haven't
talk about
really mentioned that at all yet. I have the opinion that you might not have heard that I don't think it's that good post board. I may have not have mentioned that yet.
That is a bit of a hot take there, sir. I don't know if I agree with that.
All right, and now PETA will be over for our treatment of dead horses, and we'll just get to catch all that audio on stream as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So they're trying to become friends. Apparently Pingami's friend list was full. He couldn't add Tobo as a friend. So they're trying to address that problem as we speak. Should be handled pretty soon.
Yeah, I've experienced that issue before. I've left much feedback to Direwolf Digital begging for a larger friends list. Kind of a running joke. At points, my friends' requests were up over 60, and then they like wiped it in one of the patches. So it's now reset slowly building back up as far as friend requests that I can't accept. But yeah, it's rough. Direwolf Digital just says there's a limit to how many friends you can have, and we'll just
trying to impose limits upon how popular someone can be. It seems pretty oppressive.
Yeah.
authoritarian.
Technology's just not there yet. It's just not there.
So here we go. We actually are in game 1 of the finals of the Eternal Tournament Series for week 6.
Yeah.
So we will see opening hands for both players. Ping and Me has
Ooh.
all his colors and some creatures to play, and we will see if Tobaz keeps his hand.
Tobaz can cast the spells in his hand, but it's not going to get pressure out super fast. And yeah, he opts to ship it. It was a safe hand, but maybe not quite the aggressive hand that you want to start off with, and he gets what I think is undeniably a worse starting hand, but at
he
least
could
it's
draw
faster.
running business. Yeah, like there's a world in which Tobaz draws like running creatures, and this hand's great.
Yeah,
but we'll have to see how things pan out.
Yeah, if he doesn't draw power for the rest of this game, this hand's great. This hand is fantastic.
And there's step 1, he draws Number Reaper.
Yeah, that is confirmed not power.
Confirmed attacks for damage.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I don't blame Tobo for shipping that. This is a more low to the ground burn deck than what we saw previously, right? We've got the Pyronites in there, so he's looking for a 1 or 2 drop to really back up with.
We'll see aReNGee Port Instigator come down. It will get checked by all these big creatures. He's going to need an answer to these. Like, Ping has actually had a very good draw where all of his creatures just cold all of Tobaz's.
Yeah, but Tobu's got 3 Suffocates in the list, so I guess he'll go digging for that with Quarry and instead just finds a spell at least and gets to play a Pyronite here. Or maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, all right. Pyronite comes down. And yeah, Ping on Me just gets to keep playing large units that are larger than Tobu's units. And now it's the point where Combray's like, all right, when do I turn for pressure? We're not here yet, but now you start thinking. Tobu gets to play a cheap Unburn Reaper that can attack because Sandstorm Titan.
Yeah, like this again, the Sandstorm Titan, if it doesn't die, it just blocks the universe. Like nothing is attacking through this. It is just a giant brick wall. So until Tobo finds something to kill it, it's just going to sit here making all those creatures bad. But if he does find something to kill it, he gets pretty profitable attacks pretty quickly.
Tobo's opts to not block there. With a second Unburn Reaper in hand, I would have certainly considered it.
I mean, it's awkward. You have to sacrifice 2 of your creatures to have a profitable block.
Right. Yeah, you're thinking maybe you get to ultimate this Pyronite, and that actually is more useful. You have the 6 power in hand, so...
Yeah, I think Tobo's just like gonna play all these creatures on board, like ultimate his Pyronite, and then hopefully draw something to kill the Sandstorm Titan, have profitable attacks, jam, and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with the no block just because, you've got answers to Sandstorm Titan. It's called burn spells and removal, and this Pyronite now can also go toe-to-toe with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what this Desert Marshal hits. The Pyronite is going to be threatening, like that threatens to trade with the Sandstorm Titan if that gets ult, but the Unburn Reaper triggers matter too. So this Desert Marshal's taxed pretty hard.
Yeah, like do you Desert Marshal here before they can activate Pyronite, or are you okay with them activating Pyronite and then using Desert Marshal plus Seraph to trade with the Pyronite instead, or something like that? Oh, now he's opting to go for this block.
Yeah, both creatures die. He doesn't get the trigger. Sandstorm Titan is gone now, though. So the other Unburn Reaper is like hanging out. Oh, we do see the Desert Marshal.
You may have changed your mind. Like, even though you didn't take the line last turn, you're like, all right, I'll give myself 1 more draw step to find that removal spell before making this block. He didn't see it, so he opted to make the block now.
I mean, from the perspective of Tobo, it's better here because he has the Unburn Reaper. If Pygmy doesn't have a Desert Marshal, he gets to attack in the air, gets to start doing a decent amount of damage, gets ult the Pyronite. Assuming this Desert Marshal doesn't exist, Tobo has really good attacks this turn.
Yeah, so this is interesting for Tobo because you could activate Pyronite, but you can't really swing into double Seraph anyways, and you're tapping out. That being said, like, all right, yeah, this is just a tough spot really for Tobo's here. I mean, Ping on Me might be a little flooded here, but at least he's got Seraph inevitability, and he needs to silence the Sunburn Reaper and get the beautiful trade here. Although,
I think we're just going to see, like, this trade will happen, and then I think Tobo will just end step, like, or second main phase, play power, ult Pyronite, and the next turn you can attack with a Pyronite, and if they double block, you can double torch to blow it out.
Yeah, you can either double torch, or you could have, like, torch there to save it, force a trade with Seraph, or hit them for 5, and then you have like Bear's Favor plus torch to take out a Seraph. Like there's a lot of options there.
But torch is gone now.
And yeah, that torch can't kill your Pyro Knight, so you got that going for you at least.
Yeah, but what we're likely to see is actually just a Vara's Favor on one of the Seraphs, torch it to finish it, attack with the 6/5.
Oh, well,
So still is a good turn.
And they have a torch. So Vert may have taken it from you, but you at least know of it. And oof, double power is not what you wanted to see. So now you probably don't play the Fire Sigil because you're gonna get a Shadow Sigil, so you might give them that information that you're like Shadow Sigil here if you use Bear's Favor. But yeah, geez, like if you Bear's Favor torch one and swing, they have a torch. So they could block torch, and then you're just like going into top deck mode against Combre. That's a rough spot.
It's certainly rough, but I don't know what else you're doing. And
I don't think you have a choice. I don't think
this is an awkward attack before killing them. I don't know.
It doesn't change a whole lot, ultimately.
I mean, they could just double block and then.
Yeah, now they don't have to use torch. I guess it is
Yeah.
kind of a big deal. I guess it is a bit of a big deal.
And we see Pingame deciding whether or not they want to double block or just block torch or not block at all.
Has access to the deck list, knows that this burn list is not playing Rapid Shot.
And it looks like he's going to settle on a double block here. So everything is going to die. Going to be Vara's Favor v Torch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now basically Tobo's got to save a Vara's Favor. Okay. Can count that as victory. But he also got in for 2 less damage. Count that as a loss. We'll see.
Yeah, so now in top deck mode, Pingame certainly favored in that, but here is our favorite which will
shows up.
Although it's going to be good here, it's going to at least like do a good Death Strike impression on this impending doom. So
yep. So I guess Tobo's really wants the deck thinning, doesn't think the ping effect is that important from the
there's not a lot against the Combre deck where it's going to get a bunch of value.
And if you weren't going to use Harsh Rule, now you got a second one, you definitely going to.
Yep, these are just 5-mana Death Strikes, high quality.
Nothing wrong with that.
So we'll see. Yep, just a Fire Sigil. Yep, so we are in top deck mode. We'll hit to see who draws the best thing first.
Well, I would say 2 4/4 flies is pretty good. Tobo's just letting them know I got nothing. Probably a little frustrated with this draw. You did mulligan into a 5-power hand. That's never a fun time. But
he did draw pretty well off it. Like he got to play up to this point. He had decisions. Like he had to do stuff. So
yeah, we played a real game here. Like, it wasn't like my mulligan was awful and I drew terrible. Like both players got to do quite a bit of stuff.
And this Pyro Knight, it holds these owls back. I mean, he could race 8 to 6.
You could swing with one and then trade the other owl with a torch.
That is I don't think I love that, but that is an available option. It's not actually. I think that's fine. Yeah, you retain an owl.
Because the owls could eventually get trumped if they ever find an impending doom, anyways. So,
although this happens though.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you sat back with both owls, this obliterate would just have been equally devastating.
Yeah, it would have been the same thing. Yeah,
you still could have had the block torch, but now you get to at least hold on to torch and just use Harsh Rule. You are taking more damage. You are definitely threatened by a top deck Flame Blast now, where before it wasn't quite as threatening.
Although this turn, getting in 6 damage with the Pyro Knight and the overflow damage on the obliterate means like Tobo could reasonably like just draw Running Burn and kill Pingame.
Oh yeah, I mean Power Flame Blast is lethal right now. His opponent's at 10, he's at 9 power.
And he also still needs to answer this Pyro Knight. Like this Pyro Knight's still here.
And I just lost the stream. I don't know.
Yeah, Tobias is gone, but we still got Pingame. So we could Valkyrie Enforcer, take away the Overwhelm, look to double block. You could attack Harsh Rule and then Valkyrie. You could. All these are awkward. Like he has a bunch of ways to make sure this Pyro Knight doesn't deal damage to his face next turn, but all of them are awkward.
I think you swing Harsh Rule, play the. I think that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that train too.
This leaves like them having like just trying to plan on Enforcer plus Torch as a block now is a lot sketchier. The last
Yeah, I definitely
turn I
don't
was
hate
kind
the
of
attack.
okay with it, but now that you're a bit lower,
partial.
like getting hit again for 6 is. But yeah, I don't blame Ping on me for taking their time here. This is a tough decision.
Yeah, all these decisions are really close and they're all really bad.
I like being able to just get the clunkiness of Harsh Roll hand here and just hope I rip some more threats after this Enforcer comes. But you could also just play Enforcer and sit back on both. Yes. Just feel like that's a bad idea when you're in topic mode against Burn on.
Yeah, definitely. So we do see the Owl comes in. I have to imagine this means Harsh Roll, and it does.
But
We'll see if he elects to play the Valkyrie.
Enforcer. All
Yeah.
right.
So he's invulnerable to. Actually, he still has the answer to Soulfire Drake of the Torch. So it wasn't super. It's actually better here because Umbran Reaper is pretty good against you, and you get to silence the Umbran Reaper. You're insulated from the Soulfire Drake because you have the Torch.
This Valkyrie Enforcer is a 5-turn clock. That's not nothing.
That is correct. It is not nothing.
Like when your opponent could literally draw any of their Flame Blasts at any point and you lose. I don't know if you want to, like, your opponent has 3 Flame Blasts in their deck. It's gonna show up at some point. I think you need to put a clock down. Like,
yeah, you need to get the game over with. Your opponent is only 2 burn spells away from killing you, or 1 Flame Blast.
mm-hmm.
So you need to put the pedal to the metal. He does play the Valkyrie, draws Harsh Rule, unfortunately.
We'll see if missing out on this 3 damage ends up mattering. All right, Soulfire Drake means you probably got to torch it. Means
definitely torch it, but that means Umbran Reapers now have haste.
Yeah, they've got charging Umbran Reapers and impending dooms. And again, this is all the reason why I wanted to get that Valkyrie Enforcer down a turn sooner. Because guess what? Every card that isn't power in your opponent's deck is built to take your life from 10 to 0, and you need to, try and end their life before that happens. Ooh, Desert Marshal's a sick draw.
Yeah, Desert Marshal's very good. And if they played the Valkyrie a turn earlier, this would be presenting lethal. We do see that Tobo drew the Death Strike, so it wouldn't have actually killed him, but it would have been presenting lethal.
Yeah, I suppose you could have pre-combated the Sabotage there. Wouldn't have changed anything. This Obliterate, I imagine, is going to target, the unit instead. It means another Obliterate doesn't kill your opponent.
Yeah, but now pressure's gone for Pygmy. I probably has to Desert Marshal there, but he did elected not to do so, and it's awkward to not do so. Or to do so rather.
Yeah, I think you save it because of the possibility of charging impending dooms and stuff now.
Yeah, this guy here.
Like Desert Marshal wasn't quite enough of a clock there anymore.
Yeah, 3 turns isn't enough for me.
So yeah, Taboo can't even swing there though, and that means he's dead.
Yep, just get to Vanquish here, crack back with the Mystic Ascendant.
All right, that was a tightrope, but well played on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Really close game. A lot of decisions made by both players, and we'll be moving quickly into game 2 as there is no sideboarding.
And I think that was a good play by Ping on me. Like, even though I said, "Oh, play this Valkyrie Enforcer now," it wasn't like just because they made maybe that one minor mistake, they kept repeating it. They recognized the next turn. Oh, I should play this Valkyrie Enforcer, and then went with it. So really good. It's not only important to never make mistakes, but to also say, well, maybe I should change my mind on this decision and not be stubborn about it. I think that was really good play by Ping on me.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. You don't want to compound your misplays with more misplays. I think it was reasonable, though, to leave it back for Umbran Reaper. It's definitely close. You do want to clock, but if they rip Umbran Reaper and you already played your Valkyrie naked, it deals 5 to your face. That sucks. Mm-hmm. But maybe you just can't play around that.
Right. Yeah. Burn, I think, gets a large percentage of wins just by preying on the fear of others. Like, I can't attack them here because they're going to draw this thing that's going to kill me. And it's like, well, sometimes you just got to pray they don't and actually kill them, right? You can't just sit back and wait to die. You've got to figure out a way to beat your opponent and actually win the match.
All right. And we are into game 2.
Yeah.
Tobo has found a hand to keep, and it is quite good. There's a lot of early pressure.
Yeah. And the other big thing is he is on the play. So this is going to get in for a decent amount of damage. His Desert Marshal isn't going to be quite as potent on the draw as it would have been on the play, but still very good hands from both players. And the Sabotage gets to either take a Death Strike or a Favor, and I imagine you're going to take the.
Yeah, you don't want to take the 2 damage power card.
Yeah.
So these large report this Pyronite are gonna do a lot of damage. Like the Desert Marshal could threaten a trade with the Pyronite this coming turn, but that still leaves the Argent which will meet the Seraph, but then there's the Impending Doom. So being on the play here is gonna matter a lot.
Yeah, the Seraphs are nice. The double Mystic Ascendant, not so nice against Burn. So this is a hand of a little bit of good stuff and a little bit of bad stuff, and you're under quite a bit of pressure here. But I mean, Tabose is gonna get this Umbran Reaper or Impending Doom down next turn, but in the meantime, there's he's not really adding anything else to the board.
Yeah, he's kind of all in on this Impending Doom because the Argent will get colded by the Seraph this turn. But then the 5/5 is currently unaccounted for. Like there is no answer in Pingami's hand, so he needs to find something. And if he doesn't, it's going to do a bunch of damage and make it very easily for Tomo to just draw some burn.
Pingami's already at 17. It only takes a couple more good spell rips off the top for Tobos to be able to close this in. And Champion of Chaos is nice. Again, I think he'd prefer spells instead of units at this point, but you definitely prefer either to power.
Champion of Chaos is one of the good ones because of the Death Touch. Overall interaction, even if it trades with the creature, it still gets in 4 damage. It's like a faux burn spell.
Sandstorm Titan showing up just on time, and that Sabotage taking out Death Strike, which may have been used on a Seraph instead of a Sandstorm Titan, but we don't know. Showing off its power here. Now, Tobos has no answer to this Sandstorm Titan. At least he has a Champion of Chaos that can swing, but traded Seraph for it.
Yeah, now he's just colded by the Sandstorm Titan. He can't attack here, and probably just going to trade with the Seraph.
Nothing.
That matters. The game has slowed down.
It's not going to fix the Titan problem.
Although, like, if the Titan doesn't get answered, the House of Cards kind of comes crumbling down from Pingami. So,
although Pingami doesn't have any more power here, but that means he's drawing good spells. Like the Silence could be relevant, or just a 4/4 flyer. I think the 3/3 flyer plus the Silence might be more relevant, but maybe at this point you'd want to save it for Umbran Reaper instead of a Drake. That might be a little greedy, though. But he opts to go with the Parliament instead of the Forcer.
There's the Obliterate for the Sandstorm Titan, so it allows him to attack in. It'll trade with, like, one of these will trade with the 4/4, but I think you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, now you're kind of getting rewarded actually for playing for saving the Enforcer and playing the bird, right? Because now at least I want to actually silence this Impending Doom, and that way at least I have a double block for it. Still not a great spot for Pingami, being at 8 life, facing down this kind of board.
And now, like, all of the creatures have either flying or charge. The flying creatures that already had flying have charge. The ones that didn't might have flying. So Tobias's top decks are pretty reasonable.
Shadow Sigil, still a Shadow Sigil. Does not have flying or charge.
Unfortunately. Unaffected by Soulfire Drake.
Yeah. So now you could have a space there. Maybe force them to either chump or get in for 5 and put them at 3.
Yeah. Ooh, and a flying Pyronite that gets ulted is pretty good.
That is quite a bit of pressure. Yeah, wow. Certainly better than a charging Pyronite here, I'd say. And yeah, Pingami's going to need to find something good off the top here. The good news is power becomes something else. Hopefully it doesn't become more power.
Seek Power is a little awkward. He can't play the other Mystic Ascendant, but the upside is he could cast whatever he draws if it's business.
I mean, even if you could play the other Mystic Ascendant, I don't know if you would here, just because you'd want to cast a spell that you hopefully draw off the top, and that's what happens. Gets the Valkyrie Enforcer to silence that. Under a lot of pressure. It's tempting to want to be able to swing here, but I don't know if you can afford to.
I think the Valkyrie could come in. I think you have reasonable blocks and everything else. You could you just take 3.
Let's see. You get to you'd probably take about 3 here if they draw nothing, right? You have a 6/6 that lines up on a 5/5. You've got a 3/3 and a 3/4 that can block, either chump block the 6/5 and block the 3.
Yeah, you can actually. I think you can attack with the Valkyrie here because you could. If they alpha, you just like block 6/6 on 5/5, eat the Argent Port, and then chump the 6/5.
There's risk with it, but there's risk with also just not attacking because that just means that could be one more turn for my opponent that I don't want them to have.
Like he's at 8, he's dead to Flame Blast. So
now he is dead to. Now you've got a decision: do you play this Ascendant or not? Ooh,
I think you do. Like Desert Marshal's one of your more potent
yeah.
things to draw into, and you still can cast that. So
more cracks at Marshall, more cracks at Vanquish, and he finds the Vanquish. And now you swing in with one. Yeah, I like this attack. Looks exactly what I'd do here.
Yeah, you need to put the pedal to the metal. You are
It's
currently dead
damage.
to a burn spell, so you want to kill your opponent ASAP.
But you want to leave back one flyer in case they get a flying charge unit. This attack is great. It still puts them 210. See, yep, more power. So Tobo's a little disappointed in that. Looks like the C button's going to come.
Yep, and that is 2-0 so far to start off for Pingamy as we move into the sideboarded games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, the Sandstorm Titan doing work, just stalling long enough. It did end up dying, but
yeah, Sabotage, huge deal there, right? Took the Death Strike, and that allowed the other Combray units to do their job and actually stall the board. Where a lot of times you'll see that opening from Stone Scar, where it's like 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, backed up by Obliterator, Death Strike. These units that should be getting trumped here are actually going to kill you. And there, Sabotage said, not so fast. My units are going to stick around. Thank you very much. And that was big.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see how players decide to start part. We've actually broken this down a few times, so I guess we can run it over a little bit again. Tomo's sideboard includes Ruin, Sabotage, Annihilate, Death Strike, Statuary Maiden, Wishes of the Void, and a Zendale's Gift. Again, I advocate strongly for things that do not slow down your deck. So I don't hate Sabotage, I guess. It does hit some things, but outside of that, all these cards just slow you down. I don't really want them.
100% Annihilate comes in. That's for sure. Like, you want the more answers to Sandstorm Titan. It blanks like most of your deck. The rest of it's kind of optional. Sabo is your opponent is on Combray that's running more spells than usual, so I could see being important. I don't know how much you really care about hitting Subvert, but you still have great Parliaments and Harsh Rules that are likely targets for Sabotage and Vanquish. Like, those are all decent. It's really a question of, if you bring in Sabotage, what's the cut? Is there really something worth cutting for Sabotage? I realize Soulfire Drakes and Unburned Reapers aren't great against Combray, but it's still probably better than Sabotage.
See, I think you still have to leave in your Soulfire Drakes and Unburned Reapers in this matchup, though. Like, even though they have answers in the form of like Desert Marshal and Sandstorm Titan, when they don't have those answers, those cards are incredibly powerful.
Exactly. Agree 100% there.
So you don't want to like do your opponent's job for you by taking them out of your deck. Like, now they don't even need to draw the Desert Marshal; it's already gone.
Yeah. So basically, the things you can think about cutting here are what, like, I think you still want Suffocates for both Seraph and Combray healers that you know are coming in. The Torches, I guess, are kind of meh.
Yeah, I'm not really here for Torch, I guess. I could cut 2 Torches for 2 Annihilates.
Yeah. I think that's like maybe about it.
Yeah, I would hope to see light sideboarding out of Tobo. You want to just stay streamlined, stay low to the ground. You really don't want to fight Pingamy on his axis. And as far as Pingamy sideboard goes, you have the Copper Conduit, Dark Returns, Combray Healers, Copper All Bailiffs, Decays, Scorpion Wasps, and Zendale's Gifts. Copper All Bailiff and Scorpion Wasp, I guess, and Combray Healer are the 3 that you're thinking about bringing in some number.
I don't hate Conduit either, just because it could be just a large overwhelm unit at some point. Yeah, probably not something I'm going out of my way to draw. I'm looking to cut down on Mystic Ascendants and get some stuff to do early. I would probably look to cut Harsh Rule, but we already know that Pig on Me likes Harsh Rule in this matchup. So,
yeah, I mean, there'll probably be some spots where it's reasonable. I definitely don't want 4. I'm like pretty confident 4 is not correct. I could maybe get behind like 2 or something, but it's not an effect you want that much of. It's just frequently going to be awkward to cast.
Looks like Ping on Me is bringing in some Dark Returns. I guess he's banking on Sandstorm Titan's really good. Hopefully, if they do kill it, I can just bring it back.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that.
Dark Returning Desert Marshal also useful. It is set up upon the idea that you already draw that unit first, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think Pygmy just wants to bring out a lot of his top end. He still wants some access to Mystic Ascendants because you do still need to turn the corner.
Yeah,
but
we're looking
a lot
right
of his
now.
spell.
We're looking right now at 2 Mystic Ascendants. That seems about right.
Yeah, that seems close to correct. And again, like taking out like the Harsh Rule, like he's trying to figure out a card to cut. I think it's Harsh Rule. We'll see what he decides on.
Yeah, well, we'll find out soon. This time around, it looks like he's keeping in all the Parliaments. Before, I think he was trimming some of those.
I like Parliament a lot. Like a 4/4 flyer, it deals with a lot. It trades with both of the 5 mana flyers.
Well, he decides to cut
So-
down to 3 Parliaments, it looks like, is what gets the axe here.
That's
But
a
I
good
can
end
agree with
finisher.
you. I realize it doesn't trade with Impending Doom, but it trades with everything else in your opponent's deck. So that's not a bad deal, in my opinion. Plus the upside of being on 8 and making 2 4/4s. It's, I think, your best source almost of counter pressure in this match. We saw it before, where once you make 2 of those and you have 8/8 flyers, it's a quick clock. It's a quick clock.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like players have concluded sideboarding, and we'll be moving into this match momentarily. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how both players sideboarded. We saw them do something. I didn't catch all of it, but we saw the cut down of Mystic Ascendant and stuff.
Yeah, we know Tobu has like a Zindel's Gift and Whispers in the Void and stuff like that in his side. I'll be interested to see if he decides to disrupt his main game plan enough to bring something like that in. I do like Whispers in the Void against Combray. They can't really interact with it, but I don't know if it's worth taking out anything else for.
I feel like that's more of a card Feln would want in the matchup, not so much Stone Scar.
Right. Oh man, last night I was playing around with the tech with that, and let me tell you, using Lightning Storm as a finisher because you have a bunch of ping effects in play is pretty funny.
Upstairs. So game has begun. Tobo gets to play Argentport on 2. That's where he wants to be. Pingami does have a bunch of good blockers though. These Combray healers, these Seraphs, these the Sandstorm Titan. So a lot of cards he wants to see.
Yeah, a lot of cards he wants to see. Basically, just really upset that he was on the play instead of or on the draw instead of the play. It's gonna let this Instigator get in for a hit here. It looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't dictate play draw given the current way things are set up. So it's a little idiosyncrasy in the tournament format, but play draw isn't a huge deal in most matchups,
right? Because he was the loser's choice or whatever.
Yes.
But anyways, that tangent aside, Pingami opts to play the Combray healer instead of a Seraph. You do get the game life. It doesn't threaten to actually trade with this 3/3, but I suppose okay.
I think it's fine if they fire off a torch to kill it. You saved 3 damage from the attack and ate the torch.
You just wanted to block. And here comes Sandstorm Titan. Gonna get promptly stricken down by death. Pingami's like, that's okay. I got more Sandstorm Titans. And
although this Soulfire Drake doesn't get to come in once.
Soulfire Drake gets a hit in, and then Tobos has nothing but power in hand. Pull up, which is a little rough.
Although we're kind of in the spot again where, like, so if Pingami plays the Sandstorm Titan and Tobo immediately draws an answer to it, the Drake gets coming again, and then he has to Pingami's pressed into casting Parliament.
Right. Well, that answers our question about whether or not he brought in Gift. So now you can't swing Ping here, and
I was gonna say maybe this is gonna be an outlier game where Gift was good, but
it denies Combray their inevitability if they're stuck on power and you're not. And instead it gets sabotaged. And that is an absolute dagger. Yeah, this Combray healer being able to trade with the Soulfire Drake, so you can't even have the option of swing with Drake and Farah's favor. Just making this awkward for Tobo. Pingami just gets to either play more units or wait out with this harsh rule in hand. Opts to go with an extra.
I feel like we've seen a Zendel's Gift sided in by a bunch of aggressive decks, and then it's good when their opponent gets stuck on like 4 power, but would have been awful if they just had a normal game.
Oh yeah. Zendel Gifts at its best at punishing people that play a lot of expensive spells and can't cast them all, and is trying to cast 1 spell a turn. Ooh, Pingami opting to swing here.
I mean, you don't really want to double block if you're Tobo. I think you just let it through. Yeah.
I generally think about Combray healing pre-combat and just making it a 5/9.
Just not giving them the choice, but I think if they're double blocking there, you're probably cool with that. I mean, I guess there's scenarios where they'll just draw like flying creatures from that point on and you feel bad.
Yeah, I guess you're okay with it because your follow-up is Great Parliament, which is a flyer, so you don't really care if the future units get.
Yeah, Tobo's still a spot where you can't really do anything.
I like the swing. I do like this.
Yeah. You need to start putting the clock on, get this thing turned around.
Yeah.
And we're again in the position where Pingami has established a solid board. All of Tobo's creatures are colded, and now he's just on burn. And that's probably like 17 is a large gap to bridge with just bird spells.
Subvert here, which means this harsh rule is uncastable. Doesn't decide to get double shadow instead of double justice.
Should have totally known he was going to draw South Shields from his opponent. Played accordingly.
Yeah. It's interesting. Do you want to swing with just Titan here? Oh, see, I was going to say maybe swing with Seraph, but he opts to swing with the bird instead. I was thinking you could hold back the bird and at least get in with Seraph. But I guess this way you still get to have a Sandstorm Titan. So.
Yep. And again, the Soulfire Drake trigger went off, and there's a charge Impending Doom, which cannot attack into the Sandstorm Titan, unfortunately.
Yep. Nice Impending Doom you got there. A shame if it was ground.
Although, again, if the Sandstorm Titan gets answered, House of Cards comes down. There is no other flyer in the air.
Again, that's why I'm thinking about Combrei healing my Sandstorm Titan. It takes it out of Obliterate range at the very least. Sure, it can still get struck in like Death Striked and
annihilated. But there's only
there's
only one Death Strike to annihilate though. So yeah, you can play around the other bird spells.
So like not only does this let your Sandstorm Titan attack, it also makes it harder for it to die. They have to draw either Flame Blast and use Flame Blast on your Sandstorm Titan, or one of those removal spells. Those all sound like pretty good things to me. And Harshal's here to help close out the game. Or wait,
no, it's here to be a stone blank. Good job, Harshal.
But hey, it's insurance for something. And
and it looks like Tobias is like kind of accepting his fate.
The writing seems to be on the wall here, but Tobias might give it one more draw step. Ping on me, I don't know.
Is this just a
depending on if he wants to play this Seraph so that next turn he can A-space? Sure. I think
that seems reasonable. Like
you're gonna ping him to 3, like that extra damage is relevant.
Yeah, you're the one with harsh roll, not your opponent. You get to choose whether or not the board gets swept. So, and the last Shadow Sigil, the Shadow Sigil to end the tournament. So Ping on Me will be your champion for week 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So congrats to Ping on Me with this really cool take on a new form of Combrei, right? We've seen it splash Primal in the past for Shimmer packs or whatever. And this time it was like, you know what? We're going to evolve on some of the ideas that we've seen from Argenport and Xenon and just shove it into Combrei with really good threats backed up by Sabotage. And it worked really well.
Yeah, we're really situated for the current metagame. Things have slowed down. He's playing with that in mind. He's playing the cards that are good in those slow matchups without really sacrificing his game against the decks like Stone Scar Burn. He still has the Combrei Healers, Seraphs, Desert Marshal. He still has game against all those things. So he's able to fight a long game, fight an early game. Deck's just situated pretty much at all points in the curve.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's probably going to do it. We can bring on the tournament organizer, Reckoner, for a few words.
Hello, everyone. This is Reckoner, your tournament organizer. First, I'd like to congratulate both Ping on Me and Tobo for making it to the finals and guaranteeing their place in the Invitational, which is coming up in 2 weeks. We have our final weekly of the season next Saturday, and then the LCQ on Sunday, of course. And then I'd like to give a special thanks to Ping on Me himself for taking the win with Dark Combrei, especially the 3-0 win in the finals. Very impressive. Next, I'd like to thank all the players and all the viewers. If it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. Putting on the show every week is a blast. I love doing it, and I love putting on this great content. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Next, I'd like to thank Militool, our producer. Without him, we literally could not be doing this. He puts in a ton of work every week. He's been coming up with great new ideas. A lot of it, his own ideas, the sideboard view, using the sideboard view from Mulligans, and just putting on a fantastic show. Some of you might remember back when aReNGee himself was doing it, and no real fault on aReNGee. He doesn't have great internet, but Military has definitely been a great upgrade. Speaking of aReNGee, obviously, I would hope that all of you know that this is being put on by aReNGeeternal.com, where we have aReNGee himself now running a Thursday column. I'm writing a Tuesday tournament talk column. And then we have Neon on Monday Lights Out Ace on Wednesday, and Loco Pojo on Friday, all putting up great columns every week. And finally, I would like to thank our casters. Hey, Rhino, why don't you tell us about your stream and when you stream and what you do?
All right. Yeah, I stream basically every weekday. Usually, if I'm not doing coverage here, I'm also usually streaming my POV of the tournament too. So yeah, weekdays, noon to 6 Eastern time. Although this week I'm actually going to be pushing it back a bit. I'm going to start at like either 12:30 or 1 and go to like 7. But still, basically midday all day. I mostly play draft, but I'd like to think I know a thing or two about rank too, and that's how I hop in the booth here. But yeah, we do all sorts of stuff, just have lots of fun, and just try and get better as a player every day while doing dumb things at the same time. And,
we certainly do.
Yeah, but my Twitch name is Sir_Rhino. I guess I should clarify that there isn't like a space or something. But if you look me up, you'll find it.
Yeah, we certainly do miss your excellent film control play in the events. Hopefully we'll see that sometime in the near future. And Truedawn, how about you? Tell us about your stream and what you do.
So my name is Frank Moon. You guys know me here as Truedawn. I stream at twitchtv.com/TruedawnFM. I stream every weekday starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, go until about 2 o'clock. I'm trying to extend that. Go until whenever, really, but sometime in the afternoon. Usually stream Eternal, but just stream card games in general. Moving on to doing a lot of Gwent recently, like pretty high on that game as well. So if you just want to play card games, be it Eternal or otherwise, come hang out. We talk about strategy, try and build cool decks. I try to mix it between building a bunch of jank and actually tryharding. Doing a lot of jank recently, not so much tryharding. Have to actually recuperate my master's rank this next week, but it'll be a lot of fun. If you want to see us, come do that. So I'd appreciate anyone come hang out, watch the stream. And I do think that is going to do it for all of us here at aReNGee Eternal. Thanks for watching the tournament. It was a pleasure for us to put it on for you guys. We will see you all next week. Thank you very much. Have a good night.